Good morning, everyone. I don't know where to look. Everything is a little bit, I really apologize, everyone, this morning. We are having little technical difficulties. Some changes at Sophie's have created, that we had to do things a different way. And so we're having little technical difficulties, but we are going to do our very best to bring you as much of this service as we possibly can. And for those of you in the room, I apologize for not looking at you because I'm looking at this camera. Just know that I'm looking at you and smiling at you with my heart. So hi, after all of that, welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the honor and the privilege of being the senior minister, the spiritual director of this amazing community. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. And Centers for Spiritual Living believes that there is one God, one power, one presence that is that which is back of everything. That everything that we see, everything that we don't see. It is the creative source that created all of it. So therefore, since we are here, then we were created by it, out of itself, out of the only substance that there is. And so we are like that presence. We have the same qualities. We too are creative, and in fact, we create the experiences of our lives through our feelings, our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. We create the experiences of our lives. So if we don't like the way our life is unfolding in this moment, the good news is we can recreate it. We can think a new thought. Change your thinking, change your life, right? So you might have seen it on a bumper sticker, but it's real. It's true. It's a spiritual law, and we affirm it here at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. So we're very, very glad that you came because we come together quite often, Sundays, Wednesdays, for classes, for social events, to support each other on our spiritual path, to see each other, to see the truth of each other, and to hold each other up to our highest and best. So we're very glad that you came. Happy Hanukkah! Yay! Happy Hanukkah. The word Hanukkah comes from the Hebrew language, and it means dedication. It's a celebration whose history dates back more than 2,000 years, when a group of people called the Maccabees reclaimed their holy temple in Jerusalem from the Greek kingdom that had taken over the land and had banned the Jewish people from really practicing their own faith traditions. So it's an 8-day celebration that honors the history of the Jewish people and their right to defend their right to worship God or Spirit in their own way without any kind of interference. It's an 8-day celebration around the menorah. A menorah, this candle that miraculously stays lit for 8 days on just 1 day's worth of oil. So it's a miracle. The bottom line is that Hanukkah has a profound significance, not just for the Maccabees during that time period, but for us right here and right now. It's celebrating the re-emergence of light in a time of darkness, of freedom in a time of tyranny, of hope and rededication in a time of despair. So, we practice the truth of all faith traditions, and so we celebrate Hanukkah. And I wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, and invite you to join us on Wednesday evening during our regular Wednesday evening service, 7 o'clock Zoom, where we are going to facilitate an experience of Hanukkah. So it starts at 7 o'clock. The Zoom links are in the Wednesday newsletter. So please consider joining us for this really sacred event. Today we have a flower dedication, and the flower dedication is dedicated to Diane Carnes, and it's from Carol Cross. She says, "There are so many reasons to acknowledge Diane, such as the fact that as one of the most long-standing members of our community, She helped build the center that I would later discover, or the years we worked together on TCSL's youth program, or her generosity in sharing her wisdom about radical forgiveness with us in so many different ways. But today, I especially want to thank her for being my prayer partner. The last 2 years have been tumultuous for us all, and the past 2 months have been particularly so far as me personally. Yet through it all, she has supported me with her gentle, peaceful energy, her loving friendship, and her powerful prayers. Of course, I have been praying myself about everything, but when I discuss things with her later, she has great insights into the God quality that would resolve the situation that I had lost sight of, at least temporarily. Her prayers are beautiful and sincere, flying like an arrow of love into my heart, and most of all, consistently effective. I always leave our prayer talks with enlightened energy and a reminder of who I really am and what I need to do. So thank you, Diane, for all that you are and all that you do. I love you. Cary. Can't top that, but all I'm going to do is thank her for her beautiful meditation that she did before the service that really expanded the container that our service will unfold within. So I'm really grateful for that. Thank you very much, Diane. And speaking of the amazing Diane Carnes, please welcome her to the podium.
Thank you, everybody. Wow, I'm pretty blown away. Thank you, Carol, and thank you, everybody. It was really, really sweet. I don't know if I can think now, but I'll do my best. You have to bear with me. This is my first time as a platform host, and get organized here. Our theme for the month of November is Breathe in the View. Reverend Dusty's talk today is entitled Gratitude Beyond Gifts. I am now going to read this community's purpose statement, and this is our reason for being here.
Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. And now, if you'd please turn within, open your hearts and minds, and allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to simply wash over you.
now, if you bring your attention back into the room. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Please welcome today our beloved Jim Rigsby, who will be assisting us this morning. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths.
And so it is.
And so it
Thank you,
is.
Jim. Excuse me. And now, once again, if you would turn your attention within, maybe close your eyes if you like. Do a little invocation. Right now, I recognize the presence of the Divine Spirit. This ineffable Spirit pervades the space right now as love, goodness, and inspiration. I know this Spirit as love. Love for the center and all our friends here today, in person at Sophie's, and all our friends listening at home. I feel Spirit here today as all-pervading, joyful, and uplifting. And we are always absolutely one with that Divine Spirit. We always, therefore, have the perfect channel to God, always in sync with God. We're never alone. And there is no separation. There is only love. And in this space and in the spirit of love, I bless all the hands that have come together today to provide this service, all our volunteers. I bless our AV team, who today is just Heather, I believe, and Dusty, and whose dedication makes it possible for all you at home to participate with us. And I bless the music today, provided by Karen Drucker, whose music always brings inspiration and joy. I bless everyone here at Sophie's today, including myself, and everyone watching at home, knowing they receive exactly what is needed today. And especially I bless Reverend Dusty as she delivers her message on gratitude beyond gifts, knowing she is a clear conduit, divinely inspired to communicate Spirit's message. I bless this service, knowing it is perfect and a blessing for everyone, and so it is.
So it is.
So it
The reading today is from Cary. If we perceived life with reverence and understood our evolutionary process, we would stand in awe at the experience of physical life and walk the earth in a very deep sense of gratitude. Reverence is a perception of the soul. Reverence is a natural aspect of authentic empowerment because the soul reveres all of life. And now we'll have a song by Karen Drucker.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 so grateful, so very grateful. I'm grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, so grateful, so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, so grateful, I'm so grateful, so grateful, so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so very grateful, so blessed, so grateful, and every day I start my day by saying how I'm grateful, grateful, I'm so grateful, every day I say I'm so grateful, when I go to sleep. I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful,
I'm so grateful. It's not every day that you get to have Karen Drucker singing for your service.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She actually happens to be on the music team for our national convention, which is in January. So I'm looking very much forward to that and to actually being in the room with her when she's singing. But for today, I'm grateful for the technology that allows her to fill in the space. The one thing you can say about COVID is that whenever you needed a musician, they were home. They were home. You could get them. So everybody was busy this week. So we invited the lovely Karen Drucker. Thank you all so very much. So gratitude beyond gifts. We have spent the last 28 days in gratitude. Today was the 28th day of our magic gratitude practices. And so that final practice went out this morning. And Thanksgiving was just a couple of days ago. So it's been on my mind and in my heart. And I have felt really, really just cracked open, I think, because of it. I was on a call with a family in California that used to be kind of my family away from home. And here we were all on this Zoom call, and everybody went around and said what they were grateful for. And I got very emotional just talking about it. And it was, I think, really just because I've been so full of it. Well, we already knew that, but I've been so full of gratitude for this entire week or entire month that it has just opened me up in ways that I just really couldn't imagine before. So, as I said on Thanksgiving Day in a really short little message before our meditation, that gratitude is described as a feeling or an attitude in acknowledgement of a benefit that we receive or that we are going to receive. Or it can be in an emotion that's expressing appreciation for the things that we have in our lives. Gratitude is really something that we all understand. For example, to say thank you to someone when they do something for us or they give us something is not something that we even think about, or it's not something that takes any kind of effort at all. It just seems to flow quite naturally. We began to learn that was, appropriate behavior as a young child. And so it's just, really easy for us to participate in that. Through gratitude, we affirm that there are good things in the world, gifts and benefits that we've received. Now, this doesn't mean that life is perfect. And it doesn't mean that we ignore complaints or burdens or hassles or situations that challenge us. But what it does mean is that when we look at life as a whole, gratitude encourages us to really identify some amount of goodness in our life. And if we were to really think about it, for all of us, there is some amount of goodness in our life. In the same way, when someone thanks us for something that we did for them, then that feels really natural and welcome. Although perhaps not as easy to accept that thank you as it is to give the thank you. I think for most of us, we would say, oh, it's much easier to say thank you for something, to receive something, to receive gratitude for something that we have done rather than, is that what I'm trying to say? The other way around. Yes, it's easier for us to say thank you to someone than it is for us to accept their gratitude for something that we've done. That's what I meant to say. It was Diane's flower dedication. It got me all flipped.
Me too.
So gratitude it's really not just an expression of good manners. It's actually much more than that. It is actually the foundational secret to life, to the life that we would really like to be living. And I love this conversation about gratitude. we have it quite often here. And I believe that it's a very deep conversation that touches all aspects of our lives. On one hand, it's an important outward expression of love and appreciation for the people in our lives that support us by sharing generously of their time, talent, and treasure, for the love that they extend to us, for the way that they can see who we are when we're having trouble doing that. It's being a space of thanksgiving for the roof over our heads, or the food in our bellies, or the health of our bodies, or that really, really, really good parking spot in the pouring rain, or the technology that, while a little bit troublesome today, is actually quite wonderful to have in our lives, and for really the warmth of a really loving community. Now, on the other hand, gratitude is so much more than simply a feeling tone connected to the circumstances of our lives. The secret about gratitude is that it is not just a reactionary kind of emotion, but that it's truly causative. It is a causative energy. Melody Beatty says, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, and confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. How lovely is that? For me, it's a God quality. It's a God quality that lives within us and that we can connect to and align with when we remember our oneness, when we remember our wholeness, when we remember our divine birthright. It's a God quality that we can connect to when we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God is love. That God is love, that it is a force for good that is always for us and never against us. Joel Goldsmith states in Spiritual Economics, the moment that we begin to be grateful just for the fact that God is in heaven, our lives begin to change. The highest expression of gratitude is the realization that God is the invisible source of all that is visible. So if you had that awareness and you really embodied that awareness and really spoke to that awareness and lived your life from that awareness, then what wouldn't there be to be grateful about? Everything is God. So we could be grateful really about everything. For me, the idea of gratitude is a little bit like the idea of trust. For many, trust is something that we feel or we do not feel based on the circumstances of the situation, right? Or the circumstances of our relationships. For example, when people in our lives consistently do things that we like, it's pretty easy to trust them. But when they do things pretty consistently that we don't like, then it's not so easy to do. Not so easy to put our trust in them. This is all generated from a position that the people or the experiences of our lives are causative. But here at the center, we know that that is not the truth. We know that that is not so. That life is not lived from the outside in, but rather from the inside out, as within, so without. So one definition of that word trust is the confident expectation of something. The confident expectation of something. Its synonyms include certainty, or belief, or faith. Now, when we create from confidence in the outcome, when we create from belief, or when we create from faith, our lives will look much different than what they will look like if we're waiting for the universe to prove something to us first. Trust is generative. Gratitude is exactly the same way. Our experience of life is really determined by our inner state rather than our outer circumstances. It's the essence behind the form that really matters. So when we create from an attitude of gratitude, just like a certainty of the outcome, then our lives will look much different than what they would look like if we were really creating from a space that was waiting for life to prove something to us first. Gratitude, like trust, is generative. So the invitation is to really imagine that gratitude is the cause and that it's not simply a result of the unfolding of the circumstances of our life. It is the cause. Gratitude is the attitude which prepares us to receive. It prepares us to receive. It prepares us to be open to the good that is flowing through life. It's often said that we don't always get what we pray for, but we always get what we pray from. In other words, the attitude with which we pray determines the outcome. More than the particular words that we use, more than the particular form of the prayer that we use. Another way of expressing that same idea is that the focus of our awareness determines the outcome. It determines what's manifested in our life. It determines what shows up in our outer world. Here at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living, we believe that gratitude operates through a universal law that really governs our whole entire life. And that universal law is the law of attraction, which says that like attracts like. So, for example, if we think I haven't got enough money, or I'll never have the right and perfect mate, then that law of attraction is going to attract more of the same into our lives. More of the same of not having enough money, more lack, more partners that don't really resonate with us, that aren't the right and perfect person for us. On the other hand, if we think about what we're truly grateful for, and our thoughts include things like, I love my job, or my children are the most amazing children there ever was. And we really are grateful for those things. Really, from the depths of our being, we're really grateful for them. Then the law of attraction must, not only just wishy-washy could or maybe will, it must attract more of the same into our lives. More of the same to be grateful for. More to be grateful about. What I want us to truly understand today is that this is an opportunity to really powerfully step into a universal truth, into a universal law. Not just some of the time, not just some of the time when the circumstances kind of say, oh yeah, I can believe in it now, but to really, really have faith, to have faith in that universal law. And faith in the fact that the idea of gratitude being the secret to life, or being the key that unlocks all of the doors, is really rooted in spiritual law. And like all other spiritual laws, or like all other universal laws or laws in nature, works with mechanical regularity. All of the time, for everyone, exactly the same, with no exceptions. It's simply the way that it works. Feeling grateful for what is already in our lives is, well, yeah, it's admittedly easier than feeling grateful when the experiences and the things that we want haven't yet shown up in our lives. It's easier. Sure it is. Nevertheless, to feel grateful in advance of the situation, remember, is causative. It's generative. And it's one of the most important keys to the experience of prosperity that there is. A classic example of this idea in action really comes from the gospel story of Jesus dealing with a big crowd of very hungry followers. Right? His disciples reported to him that the only provisions that were available were 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. that one young man happened to bring along with him for his own lunch. Obviously, it was completely inadequate to meet the needs of that entire crowd. Completely inadequate. In the gospel story, Jesus took what there was into his hands, and he was grateful for it. He gave thanks. He was not giving thanks for this inadequate lunch that he was holding, nor settling by saying that, well, we'll just make do with whatever we have. Everybody will just have a little teeny tiny piece. No, he gave thanks. He gave thanks. And he said, I'm grateful for the evidence of God's bounty that is represented by these loaves and this fish. I am grateful for God's bounty that is represented by them. So there wasn't enough loaves and there wasn't enough fish, but there was something. And because Jesus knew something about the presence of divinity, he was able to bless what they had, and because of that, it was multiplied. He gave thanks for what they had. From a space of really expanded or elevated awareness of abundance, of the underlying abundance, of the underlying God's abundance. Feeling grateful for what already is also much easier than feeling grateful when we're neck deep in challenging times. I get that it's not as simple as it might sound. Some of us might be experiencing life as something in which there's absolutely nothing in our mind to be grateful about. We can't see anything to be grateful about. It's hard for us to step outside of the human condition, the circumstances that we're involved in the moment, to catch a view from a higher perspective or to find the gift in the struggle. Some of us might even believe that if we stand in an attitude of gratitude for what we have now, that our lives will get no better. To send a message to the universe that we're grateful for a particular experience just the way it was would hamper even greater possibilities unfolding. But it's not the way that it works. Some of us may protest, you don't understand my situation. How can I be grateful in my particular financial dilemma? Or how can I be grateful in the midst of this divorce? Or how can I be grateful when I'm not even really sure where my next meal is coming from? Joel Goldsmith said, this is precisely the time to stir up the gift of gratitude. Remember, it's not a reactionary emotion, but a causative energy. You do not need something to be grateful for. You need only the desire to be grateful. Only the desire to be grateful. We may even find ourselves saying about someone else, oh, it's easy for him or her to be grateful because they have so much to be grateful about. But the question I have is, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It may be that he or she has so much to be grateful about because they were so grateful. On the outside looking in, we don't know. I invite each of us to invoke the law that Plato spoke 2,500 years ago. A grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts to itself great things. A grateful heart and mind opens us up to tremendous receptivity. In those moments when I find it hard, I do at times, find it difficult to find the presence of God within my human perception, I am reminded that God is either everywhere at all times or God is nowhere at all. It's the way that it has to be. There can't be a little bit of God over here and a little bit of God over here, and over here, no God today, maybe tomorrow, but no God today. God is either everywhere or God is nowhere. I believe that God is everywhere. And just thinking about that, reminding myself about that, encourages me to be really curious about where God is in this situation, where the gift is. What is it that I can be grateful about so that I can bring that forward? Because if I can shift my energy even a little bit towards gratitude, then I'm now going to be attracting to myself from that new space. Right? It is said that when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. And it's really because of that law of attraction and shifting our vibrational energy, which gratitude does. The bottom line is that gratitude also includes respect for what the ego would call bad news. Those challenging circumstances that come into our lives from time to time. There's a wonderful story that I think speaks really beautifully to this. It's a story that many of us have heard a time or two, but I think that it's always good to hear these kinds of things again and again because they really bring it home. So there was a long time ago a king who never went anywhere without his trusted advisor. Well, except for this one time, when he did go out into the kingdom and he got into a little bit of trouble and he ended up having his finger chopped off. So he went back to the castle to tell his trusted advisor about this horrible incident that had happened. And what he really wanted was to enlist the advisor into being as mad as he was about the situation. You know, to get down in the mud with him about it. The advisor listened to him, however, and simply said it was for the best.
Thank you for this day, Spirit.
Which is, of course, what the king did. The king was livid.
For this day, thank you, day, Spirit.
After all, he had just had his finger cut off. And he couldn't believe that that was all that the advisor had to say. In fact, he was so mad that he threw the advisor into prison and he threw away the key. Now, during the time that the king or the advisor was in the prison, the king went on another adventure again without the advisor, and again this time he decided that he was going to go on a journey by sea. So again he ran into trouble when the ship that he was on sank, and he was only saved because he hung on to a piece of wood from the hull. So eventually he and the piece of wood wash up onto the shore of an island, where the king was welcomed to the island by a group of cannibals who thought that he looked like the right and perfect meal for their leader. So while preparing him to be the feast, one member of the group noticed that he was missing his finger. He stated that they could not possibly offer him to the leader because he was flawed. It would be an insult. So they let him go. Now, after quite a long while, the king made his way back to his kingdom, and he immediately went to the prison to speak to his advisor, because he recognized that he had been wrong. And he wanted to ask what he needed to do, or what could he do to gain the advisor's forgiveness. And the advisor simply said it was for the best. Again, the king could not believe that this was all the advisor had to say, and asked him why he was not mad. Why he was not mad that he had to spend all that time, all those years in prison. And And the advisor said, had I not been in prison, I would have been with you on that ship when it sank. I too would have washed up onto the shore and been greeted by the cannibals. Unlike you, however, I am not flawed. While you received a pardon, I would have been lunch. It was for the best. Gratitude. So I invite each of us to look at the circumstances of our lives not as a punishment doled out by some judgmental God outside of ourselves, but as an opportunity to become more aware and less attached, to become more grounded in the truth, more grounded in our belief and faith in these spiritual laws, and less resistant to the good that is always flowing through and as us. Darren Weissman, in The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude, says, gratitude empowers you to go through life without judgment. With this feeling, you see the value of any experience as an opportunity, rather than being a victim of your circumstances. So the invitation is to embrace life with an attitude of gratitude, to remember that the attitude we have to any experience that we are going through is a choice. It's a choice. We might not always have a choice of the experience that we're going through, but we have a choice of our attitude around it, what we're going to do with it, what we do after it, what we do during it, right? We have a choice. We can see the glass is half full, or we can see the glass is half empty. Rather than surrendering to the emotions of negativity and despair, we can choose to courageously and gratefully accept the challenges as opportunities. To do so immediately transforms the situation, the challenge, or the pain into an opportunity to develop our higher selves. So to develop our higher selves, perhaps just raising our vibrational level just a little bit. And sometimes that makes all of the difference in the world, in how we feel and what we attract to ourselves. An attitude of gratitude expands the experience of our lives beyond one of suffering, beyond one of victimhood, to a deeply grounded awareness of the infinite possibilities that are available to us. Reverend Michael Beckwith originally spoke this quote that I'm going to say to you about forgiveness, but I believe that it also applies to gratitude. My intention for each of us today is that we will be at some point able to really stand grounded in the ability to say to ourselves, to say to the universe, to say to God, to say to others, no matter the situation, thank you for giving me that experience. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you were able to say, no matter the circumstances, thank you for giving me that experience? Because somehow I grew, somehow I learned something that my soul needed to learn. Somehow I was able to see the gift in it. The bottom line is that the more we stand in an attitude of gratitude for the challenges as well as the blessings in our lives, the more the lines blur between them. They're all gifts. All of them are gifts on our spiritual path. We don't have to wait for our lives to get better in order to feel grateful. When we are constantly grateful, it's impossible to feel like a victim. Living in gratitude sweetens the life that we are living just the way that it is.
Amen.
Just the way that it is. In a small yet powerful book entitled Enough, Discovering Joy Through Simplicity and Generosity, the author Adam Hamilton says, a grateful heart recognizes that all of life is a gift. Contentment comes when we spend more time giving thanks for what we have than thinking about what's missing or wrong in our lives. In any situation, we can either complain or we can be grateful. We can focus on all the things we don't like, or we can begin to search for the things we do like and be grateful for them. We can focus on the disappointments, or we can give thanks for the blessings. So today, I invite each of us to see all of life as a gift and to live all of that life every day, every situation, every circumstance with an attitude of gratitude.
Oh, it is.
So I just invite us to turn within, to allow ourselves to return to that space and place that Diane so beautifully created our awareness about, and to allow us to really sink into that joy, that peace, that love, that creativity, that wisdom, that abundance that is the very presence of God itself. To turn away from the world of form and allow our attention and intention to turn inward to the spiritual side of life. I know that I am one with this space, with this place, with this energy, with this presence. It is that which created me. And just as I know that this is true for me, I know that it is absolutely true for each and every person here at Sophie's today, each and every person watching us live, each and every person that will watch this service later on. We are all divine emanations of the One, ambassadors of its presence on the planet. And it is from that place of unity, this deep and abiding connection that we have with God, with life, and with each other, that I speak these words about and for each of us today. Truly knowing that there is a way that we can live our lives from an attitude of gratitude. That we don't have to wait for the circumstances in our lives to change, that we can lean into our deep and abiding connection with the divine, recognize that everything is God, that right where we are, God is, that no matter what we are experiencing, whether we would term it in our human terms as a challenge or a blessing, that God is present. And that there is something within each of us for us to take on our spiritual path to bring us closer and closer to our highest and best self, our highest and best life. That truly gratitude is generative. It's not just something that I'm making up from the pulpit here, but truly something that is generative. Not just something that we say because we have good manners, but something that we connect with deeply. That we claim loudly. That we proclaim continuously, knowing that it brings more and more for us to be grateful about into our lives. And I'm so grateful to know this truth, so grateful to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes. And so I release them, and I release them with love and expectation, and of course, gratitude. Letting go and letting God be God. And I invite everyone to anchor this prayer for themselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is, and so it is. Thank you all so very much. It's now time for our conscious giving. Now, this is the time each week that the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living takes the time to really invite in these gifts. We're sustained by the giving of these gifts, whether it's our time or our talent or our treasure. And when we offer this financial support, what I know about it is, however big or small the gift is, that it allows this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth for ourselves and for each other and for the greater Triangle community, Together we affirm that truth that today's offering lifts this community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There are several ways that you can give. You can visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Up in the right-hand corner, there's a little button you can click on. You can text the word GIVE, capital letters GIVE, using the number, oh, Heather, what is it? I have the wrong number on here. 919-230-8445. Or you can mail your gift to our office. Our new address is PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina 27519. So I invite everyone to take your gift or just place your hand over your heart with an intention, and we can say our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source. And so it is. So it is. Thank you all so very much for your gifts. And it is now time for our amazing songstress to sing, yes? Please welcome back Karen Drucker.
Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit, thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit, thank you for my life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit, thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Oh, thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Every day I say thank you for this day.
Thank you, Karen Drucker, and thank you, Reverend Dusty, for a fantastic reminder and talk about gratitude. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website, trianglecsl.org, on the homepage. There is a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. We will get the prayer and send it out to all of the ministers and practitioners. And if anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication for anyone, for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. Join us for 5 special celebrations over the 5 Wednesdays in December. Each one will begin at 7 p.m. on our regular Wednesday evening Zoom channel. The first will be Hanukkah on December the 1st. The word Hanukkah comes from the Hebrew language meaning dedication. It is an 8-day celebration that honors the history of the Jewish people to defend their right to worship God or Spirit in their own way without interference. The second Wednesday will be on Bodhi Day. We celebrate Bodhi Day on December the 8th. Bodhi Day marks the morning Buddha achieved realization or enlightenment. Enlightenment is defined as the action or state of attaining or having attained spiritual knowledge or insight. The third celebration will be Pancha Ganapati. I hope I said that correctly. On December the 15th. Pancha Ganapati is a modern Hindu festival in celebration of Lord Ganesha, patron of arts and guardian of culture. This festival falls during the month of December and lasts for 5 days, from December 21st through December 25th. Pancha Ganapati is a Hindu expression of the natural season of worship, gift-giving, and celebration. The fourth will be the winter solstice on December the 22nd. Winter solstice is the time of year when in the northern hemisphere the sun appears at the lowest point above the horizon. It is the shortest day and the longest night of the year and signifies the return of the light. Final celebration will be Kwanzaa on December 29th. Kwanzaa reflects the traditions of harvest festivals celebrated in many African countries, acknowledging the first fruits of the harvest and the reward of family and friends working together to produce the season's crop. As with any holiday, Kwanzaa traditions vary and continue to evolve with each celebration. Save the date for our annual Christmas Eve service on Friday evening, December the 24th, and our annual New Year's Eve service on Friday, December 31st. Both services will be at 7 p.m. and will be live streamed on YouTube and Facebook Live. Links will be sent out as it gets closer to the dates. The last announcement is for our annual New Year's Day Visioning and Vision Board process. This event will begin at 1 p.m. Keep a lookout for more information forthcoming. So in the comfort of your own home or here, please stand for our November affirmation. This is a call and response. Please say it with meaning and repeat after me. I am a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in a spiritual world.
I am a spiritual being having a spiritual experience in a spiritual world.
My spiritual journey operates according to spiritual laws.
My spiritual journey operates according to spiritual laws.
Each point along my path has been integral in shaping who I am today.
Each point along my path has been integral in shaping who I am today.
There is an exquisiteness and perfection to this divine order.
There is an exquisiteness and perfection to this divine order.
As I turn away from appearances, I see every situation from a place of spiritual truth.
As I turn away from appearances, I see every situation from a place of spiritual truth.
As I lift my eyes to the highest view of life, I see the beauty and feel the grace.
As I lift my eyes to the highest view of life, I see the beauty and feel the grace.
As I do so, my life abounds with love, peace, and joy.
As I do so, my life abounds with love, peace, and joy.
I am grateful for everything I am, everything I do, and everything I have.
I am grateful for everything I am, everything I do, and everything I have.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Now you can maybe seated. Please turn within one more time. A little benediction. Right now, in the energy of gratitude, I recognize the presence of God. This energy of God is palpable as the love that pervades our consciousness. This spirit is my own self, indeed, always accessible. I am so thankful right now for Reverend Dusty and her talk on gratitude. I am so thankful for the deeper understanding that she always brings through her talks and her presence. I'm so grateful for everyone who has helped bring this service to us as we bring this wisdom into our daily lives throughout the week. I am full of gratitude for Sophie, who provides this space for us to have the service, and for all our musicians and volunteers, and for all of you here and online. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, everyone. I do have one last little announcement that I didn't get on Diane's rather lengthy list. And that is that, like last year, we're having an Advent calendar this year. So, and it's kind of our take on an Advent calendar because Heather and I were so excited to bring it to you, we decided we needed to start it on November 30th. So there will be some link sent out that you'll be able to click on, and then if you save that link, then every day you can go to that Advent calendar. And every day you can click on a new door, and there are insights and little videos and music and quotes and all different kinds of things for you throughout the month then. So it'll go from November 30th, which is door number 1. So it's going to be a little bit confusing, I apologize, but we were too excited. So November 30th will be door number 1, and it will go through door 32, which will actually be December 31st. Okay, so, and also you could go to the website, and if you scroll on that first page, there will be a place where you could click on and get to the Advent calendar that way also. So take a moment out of your day to click on a new door daily. You can't go ahead. They won't let you go ahead. So you've got to stay where you are and be in the moment and just enjoy that. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays from Heather and I. We love you all. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us.